Hello friends, I'm Timur and you're watching the Nastolki live channel. Today we'll talk about another game from the Crowd Games publisher. This time we have a colorful box called Ganesha. What's inside? Let's take a look. So, inside the box are hidden 3 mandala boards of different colors, a scoring track, an altar board, 4 destiny tiles, a Ganesha's drum token, spice tokens, a gem bag, 60 gems and 4 player markers. Setup. First, you need to determine the number of players and depending on this, choose a mandala. Green one is for 2 players, blue one is for 3 and purple one is for 4. Please note that they are double-sided. You decide which side to play on, the day or night. Around the selected mandala, lay out the scoring track, which also has 2 sides. Place the altar board next to it. Now let's prepare the bag. And just like in the case of the mandala, the number of gems will depend on the number of players. 40, 50 or 60 for the full number of participants. Next, determine the first player. He or she receives the Ganesha's drum token and places it in front of oneself with the number 1 facing up. Each player chooses a color, receives the corresponding player board and places one's player marker on a space 0. Moreover, in a 4-player game, the last player receives 2 victory points in advance. The last thing to do is fill in the altar. Again, depending on the number of players. White hexes are used for 2 players, white and turquoise hexes for 3 players and all hexes for 4 participants. To begin with, the first player shuffles all the spice tokens face down, then places them face up on any available spaces on the board according to the number of players. It is important that there is always at least 1 empty hex between tokens. Then the player places gems from the bag on all available hexes, 1 for each of them. Now we're ready to play. Gameplay. The game lasts 12 rounds for 2 players and 9 rounds for 3 to 4 players. Each round, starting with the first player, each participant takes 1 turn and the turn consists of 3 steps: taking gems, placing gems and earning points. Let's overview them in detail. Taking gems. At this stage, the player has 2 options. The first one is to take any gem but only 1 from any hex of the altar board. The second is to take 2 gems, but you need to follow some rules. If the first gem you choose matches the color of other one lying on your destiny board, then you can take another gem. It can be of any color, but it must be located on the adjacent hex from the previously taken gem. In addition, if gems of the same color lie on your 2 destiny squares and they match in color with the selected gem, then you can take the second gem this turn from any hex of the altar, not necessarily from the adjacent one. Each time you remove a gem from a spice token, you can apply its effect. For example, get 1 victory point immediately. After applying the effect, the token must be discarded. Placing gems. During the placement step, the player must place the gems obtained during the first step on his board. The player can place it either in the treasury or in one of the destiny squares. If there is a gem already in the square, it goes to the treasury. Taking 2 gems during the first step, the player can do them the same, but also can place them in 2 destiny squares at once. It is important to know that this square cannot contain more than 1 gem at a time. Earning points. To get victory points, players move gems from their treasuries to the mandala in the center of the table as follows. To move all gems of the same color, the player must sacrifice 1 gem of the same color to the bag. However, there are exceptions. For example, by sacrificing a yellow gem, you can move all gems of 1 color, but you don't have to sacrifice anything to move yellow gems. Moving gems, you must be guided by the following rules. The player always moves all gems of the selected color from the treasury. You cannot move only 2 if you have 4. It's also impossible to move gems of different colors in 1 turn. The color of the cells on the mandala to which the player moves the gems must match the selected gems. They must be placed on the mandala cells in turn clockwise, starting from the first cell of the selected color. If there are already a gem on the cell of this color, then the player simply continues the sequence. Each time the player places a gem on a cell, the player receives the number of points indicated on it and moves one's marker along the track of victory points. End of the round. After each player has taken one turn, the round ends. The first player rotates the Ganesha's drum token counterclockwise one space and scores one victory point. After that, the next round comes. Once 3 rounds have been played, the first player must pass the Ganesha's drum token to the next player clockwise. Any remaining gems on the altar go to the bag, and unused spice tokens must be discarded. The new first player now fills the altar the same way as during the setup. End of the game. After playing the required number of rounds, all players move gems from their destiny squares to the treasuries, and starting with the player who has collected the least points by now, they finish filling the mandala. Participants take turns placing one gem from their treasuries on the mandala according to all the rules except sacrificing a gem, and receive victory points for this. When each player has no more gems left, the player whose marker is farthest on the victory point track is the winner. Conclusion. As you may understand, what we have here is a pure abstract game, which, however, has a colorful thematic design. Due to the simplicity of rules, a pleasant amount of interaction, and the transience of the games, it can be called a family game undoubtedly. Thank you for watching our video. We would be happy if you like it and subscribe to our channel. And be sure to play different games.